Welcome. I'm your host, Dustin,
I'm your co-host Aaron.
and today we are back doing movie reviews after a full week of doing interviews. Today we have special guest Candy, the Final Girl from the House That Screams Horror podcast. Candy, how you been?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
We're hanging on over here, and just had to watch the movie that we're doing today, Torso, which is a very Giallo. But before we really jump into it, I'm gonna say I don't know if I really consider this one a Giallo.
It's considered I like to talk about Giallo because I don't get to do it very much.
Yeah.
It's considered because Martino didn't start out as a Giallo director,
Hmm.
but it's considered a Giallo. It's put in that category. Now, as to whether you want to pick that
Yeah.
or not, that's completely up. I I'll save the rest of my thoughts on that for now.
Yeah, because Aaron and I, we kind of got into watching Giallos, even though the movie's not really a Giallo, is Suspiria, and then we fell in love with Dario Argento, and I just watched a lot of his movies, and that's Giallo to me, like his style of writing is pretty much like what he's doing. You got like Deep Red and stuff like that, which is the
I love Deep
pinnacle.
Red.
Like that's like the everything that's Giallo. Like when people want to talk about Giallo, it's usually Deep Red.
Well,
um
what's interesting about Argento is that he incorporated and one, he mainstreamed Giallo,
Mhm.
and that he's a pioneer on that. He certainly, it's not a strict Giallo, like in the
yeah.
sense of what a Giallo really is. That's more of like your Bava stuff that was, really the first Giallo films. I'm a big Bava fan.
Same.
Um, but I like Argento until he and Daria Nickelodeon split up, and then I was kind of like, okay, Argento, I feel like your muse let you down because this is not like I pretty much stop at Tenebrae
Yeah, and that's a
with
that's
Argento,
that's a
and I
good one.
don't like the movie before it, Inferno, too much, but Suspiria is
Yes.
great.
Yeah, that's the thing. Aaron, I think, has yet to watch Inferno, and I keep telling him he needs to, but you're gonna come out of that one being like, I wish it was just Suspiria again. No,
That's
because
what I'm afraid to
Right.
get.
it's very like he's trying new things and trying to piece things together from what was happening in Suspiria, to do his whole trilogy and
Yeah,
everything. But
the Three Mothers trilogy.
I don't know. I've seen Inferno a couple of times, and each time I come out of it, I feel the exact same. I'm just like, I don't know if I enjoyed this or not. Like some of the effects are really cool. Um,
It
you know,
has
the,
its moments.
yeah, the colors are still technically there, even though Technicolor kind of ended with Suspiria. Um, but yeah, it's just one of those movies where it's just like you either really really like it or you kind of hate it.
I've never
Um,
met anybody who likes it.
yeah, it's
Honestly, I
it's
really haven't.
it's weird, and we did cover Suspiria, but I think we need to do a revisit of that
Hmm.
at some point because
Yeah.
since we have all this new equipment and we sounded way better than we did when we did Suspiria last year, we definitely need to revisit that one. But today we're talking about Torso, and Aaron, if you want to pull up IMDb and we can kind of go through who starred in this,
Let's get
and
the app this time.
oh, was gonna give a round of applause to Aaron for downloading the IMDb app. Yes.
Instead of using
Oh,
the shitty website.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
I had to give into that once we started the podcast. I was like, I kind of need this, I
Yeah, it
think.
kept like glitching out on me every time I'm trying to read something, and
Yeah.
I was like, I should probably download that. Well, he told me like multiple times, and I was like, I should.
Yeah, it's a great app.
Oh, okay. I
Uh,
thought my internet was messing up. I apologize. You can edit that out.
No, it might just be my end because my computer's been acting kind of weird. So every now and then it might glitch out a little bit. So that's
Okay,
definitely
so
my
yeah,
end.
I never know if it's me because mine's been unreliable,
It's
but
okay. I mean,
we're good, I think.
we had to go through that when we had you on for the interview, so it's okay. That wasn't that bad.
so annoying though.
Yeah, I know. Technology,
Right.
right. So, or so. 1973.
Yep.
Run time, hour and 32 minutes.
Sweet spot, that
Yeah.
that 90-minute mark.
Yep. Oh, the original title is long as hell. I don't speak
Yeah,
Italian, so
yeah,
I'm not
I
even
speak
gonna.
Italian. It's I corpi presentano date di violenza carnale, which is the body's bare traces of carnal violence.
All right, so now
Hell yeah.
we got Candy to be a translator over here.
Right?
So there you go.
Thank you. I would have butchered that.
And that's why I would have made you do it.
So, top build cast. We have Susie Kendall, who plays Jane. Kind of like the main protagonist.
Yeah, it's
Like,
kind of weird
it's
though,
like-
because when we jump into this and really get into it, like you think that she's like the main one because she's the top billed one there, but I think
Yeah.
she was also the only American actress, if I am correct, on this. That's
Correct.
probably why she was getting paid a little bit more.
But she's actually, though.
Is she?
Yeah.
Really? I don't know. Whatever it may be, but you know,
Which is funny.
it's like that with Giallos too. Is like the first person they always
Everybody's from
have.
everywhere.
Yeah, that, and also the first person who's ever listed on like IMDb. You know, sometimes it's just because they were paid the most, but it doesn't mean that they're actually on screen or being, you know.
Well, Susie Kendall, like she was recognized because she had been in quite a few films, including James Bond film. Which one was it? It escapes me, but she'd
Yeah.
been around. People recognized her, so
Yeah.
she could command the top billing and fees.
Yeah, so that's usually why that happens.
Right. Yeah, she is known for that's a movie, I think. Burburian Sound Studio, which came out in 2012. Haven't heard of it.
Oh, so she's probably still acting and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, that's another thing with the IMDb app. They updated it and made the listings of the filmography very, very weird. So you don't have to go through the movies if you don't want to, Aaron. If you just want to go through who's starring in it, it'll probably be easier.
That's fine. And then we have Tina Almont, who plays Daniela. Locke Miranda, who plays Roberto. John Richardson, who plays Franz.
Yeah.
Or Franz.
Franz, yep.
Roberto Bisacco, I think, who plays Stefano.
Yep.
Ernesto Colli, who plays Gianni Tomasi, who is the scarf guy.
Yep.
Angel Covello, who plays Katia.
Just however you can pronounce it, it's fine. I'm awful with names as well, so.
Carla Brait, who plays Ursula.
I think that's probably
Like the main.
yeah. Those are pretty much the main. I mean, there is a lot of characters in this movie. To
Motorcycle
be fair.
Guy 1 and 2.
Mostly naked women.
Yeah. So if you like boobs and you like seeing naked women, this is definitely your movie, because it's like
Definitely your
right
genre.
off the bat. Right off the bat. Do we have a budget or anything? Are they gonna bless us with that today?
See.
Sometimes IMDb doesn't. They give us a
Yeah,
box
box
office.
office.
That's fine.
Grossed $735,550 in the U.S.
Okay, so that's probably throughout the whole time it's been out, I would think. That's another thing that's really weird.
Yeah, no
Sometimes
budget.
IMDb doesn't have all the stats on it, and you go to Rotten Tomatoes and then they
They
have
have
all the
everything.
stats for some reason. I don't know why they do that. Oh, you're
More
good.
prepared.
I should probably download the app for Rotten Tomatoes
Yeah, me too. I was just thinking that. It'd probably make things a lot
There's an
easier.
app for everything these days.
There
you know?
really is. Yeah.
All right. Did you see?
No, I have not looked at the Rotten Tomatoes. Candy, have you?
No, that's usually what Sean does. He looks at Rotten Tomatoes and does because he pulls like the shitty reviews, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes from there and different places. I never use that site. I mean to, but I don't remember. So I'm always
Alright.
like organizing other things. So we kind of do have different jobs that we divvy out
Yeah.
between us.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you want to
Wanna
do
take a
the
whack
guessing
at-
today?
Yeah.
To see what the scores are?
I okay, so here's the thing. I don't really know which way to go with this as far as like audience. Critics, I don't think it's very high. That's going to be my guess. Audience, that's your wild card.
Yeah.
I know people that adore this film, and I know people that are just like, fuck this film.
Yeah.
So I don't really
Go either
I
way.
can't even guess. I'll just go with 50 to go in the middle.
Both? All right.
And I think critics would be a little bit lower than that. I don't think it got great reviews.
All right. Well, we'll start with critics. It is not certified fresh, I'll tell you that. It only has 9 reviews, and it is sitting at 56%.
That's not bad. It's slightly above
I mean,
average.
Yeah, bigger than I thought.
audience score, 1,000+ ratings, is resting at 54% currently.
Well, it's slightly above
Too
average.
close.
So I guess after watching this movie twice, because I watched it early this week and then I rewatched it today as soon as I got home from work. It's definitely like, right in the middle of a Giallo film, or even just like I guess a slasher film if you want, or like a stalker film, however you want to categorize this. Because I don't really consider it a Giallo, but since everybody else does, I'm just gonna fall in line and say, yeah, it's a Giallo film, just to please everybody. Like, yes, it's Giallo. You guys got it.
I think it is a Giallo just because there are certain criteria for a
Yeah,
Giallo. And technically they are there.
yeah,
We have our red herrings, we have, our point of view killer, and of course we know that Giallo is what gave birth to the slasher films.
yeah,
So I think it has the
Aspects of it.
criteria. Now whether it pulls it off or not is up for debate, but um that's why I think it gets thrown into that category,
yeah.
because it does have like the typical elements. We've got our black glove killer, all the typical kind of things. So, yeah, technically, I think it is, but that's up for whatever people want to
discussion.
interpret
Yeah,
it.
I think the only reason why I really think it's not really like it is, it has like the Giallo elements. You got the black gloves, it's got the killer and whatnot. It's the police element that's not that important in this one, because usually the police is like very, very prominent in Giallo
Yeah.
films, and they always
It's about,
come.
like, investigate.
Yeah,
like, the
and then they
chase
start
and-
working with the people who are being like attacked.
involved,
And
yeah.
this one, they're in like what, 3-4 scenes, if that, and they're so minor. So that's the only reason why I think that. But it's the very early stages of what Giallo would become, what everybody knows.
Yeah, like definitely mainstream Giallo, because
Yeah.
this is before Argento like really took over
Exactly.
and created what most people think of as Giallo, which is and it introduced a lot more like supernatural elements,
Yeah.
and Argento is pretty good at what he did.
Yep. And I want to see his new movie. I think it's Black Sunglasses. It just came out in Italy too. So
I know that I will watch it,
yeah.
but I don't trust him after Tenebrae.
Yeah.
I just don't, but I
Well,
know that I will see it.
we'll see. In his old age, maybe something may have like knocked up there, and he would have been like, "Oh, this is great." Yeah, I mean, from visuals, like any shots I've seen of it, any stills look really good. It looks Argento, just in the modern age. So I'm very, very curious if it's ever gonna get over here. That's another thing.
I'm sure it will. He's such a huge name. I'm sure it will.
Yeah. All right, Aaron, you got any weird reviews down there that you want to pinpoint?
The top ones. Anton Battelle from Little White Lies says the near universality of male errancy is torso certainly makes it difficult to guess the identity of the killer, but it also points to another message in Martino's work, inscribed expressionistically by men on the bodies of women.
Okay. Yeah, this is
and that was all
definitely
positive.
Yeah, this movie is kind of confusing. Like, who's the killer? Because it kind of like changes a couple of times over.
Gets you thinking. You're like, oh,
I
it's this
think
person.
well, I mean, if you want me to give my personal opinion on that,
Sure, go
I
ahead.
can, because that I'm very opinionated. But I think there are a lot of other films, including other Martino films, that do the red herrings better. I had this shit pegged from moment one almost, and the red herrings. I think there were too many.
Yeah, yeah,
To make it, it made it more confusing than tense.
Mhm.
exactly.
So yeah, there's a lot of guessing, and I know that a lot of the cast didn't even know. Like only like the women were like, we don't even know who's doing it, because obviously they don't have the actual person doing the parts or whatever. So we don't have a reveal till the end, but there were just too many red herrings, so it kind of made it too obvious to me. But maybe I'm just jaded. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I feel the
I
same
could see
way.
that,
That there definitely were a lot of red herrings in this. Because when you think you kind of figured it out, like I was trying to, I think I may have caught it around maybe the half hour 40 mark. I mean, there was one red herring that was kind of played the whole time, was I don't even remember his name. It's like the doctor dude at the end that
I
comes to
just call him the
save.
doctor guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I call him
Doctor dude.
the doctor dude. That's another thing because there's a lot of characters in here that I kind of forget everybody's names.
Yeah, there are way too many characters, I think.
Yeah, they don't really flesh out a lot of them. And the ones I do remember are like the first ones that get killed, like Carol, and
Yeah.
Jane and Danny. But that's about it. Everybody else, I have no idea who they are. I know what they look like, but I don't know their names.
Right, right. And I think that that's kind of maybe not me leaning towards a strong thing here. I'm just like, ugh,
Yeah. I
you
like.
know, this is kind of a little bit confusing mess. Like I think if it had been stripped down a little bit
Yeah,
and
Mhm.
it played a little tenser.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Do we have any negative reviews?
Tales next to director Sergio Martino's more inventive sleaze thrillers. Says F. Gross,
Okay.
Slant Magazine.
Well, it looks like they have a lot of positive reviews on here, so.
The motivation is right out of the Psycho playbook, only not quite as convincing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody's kind of aligning
It's
with like
kind of
what we're
mixed,
saying
yeah.
too,
Yeah.
But I think without further ado, we can jump right into Torso.
All right.
And I think we'll just jump into it, Candy. Wherever you want to start and you wanna speak about, you're a guest today, so whatever
You're
like
brave.
whatever
I'm
is
like,
like
whenever it's
irking
my
you.
turn first on my show, I'm like, so that ending. I will
Hey,
try
no,
not to do that.
honestly, you can do it because
That's your favorite
this
scene?
is a movie that I don't even know. Like even going through scenes, you're gonna get so confused because.
It's confusing.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
wherever you want to jump off and lead us in, you can kind of
We'll
riff
go
off
from
our
there.
moments that we want to pick out. So you got the floor.
I guess my first question is, have you guys seen any of Martino's other works?
The thing is, I think I have, but it's been such a long time since I really delved into anything other than Argento. So I'm sure I
I
probably
have.
did, but man, it's just been such a long time. Like if you threw a
And
title at me, I'd probably be like, yeah, I've seen that.
your vice is a locked room and only I have the key.
Yes, yep. Okay, I've seen that one.
That
Yeah,
shit's wild.
yeah,
Like he's like the master of like throwing way too much shit at you, but sometimes it's fun and sometimes you're like, oh,
yeah.
okay. I mean, like I'm just gonna flat out say it. Like I'm a Bava fan and I'm a Fulci fan, which is
Okay, yeah,
surprising. And like I said, some Argento.
yeah.
Um and they all have their own styles. I prefer obviously the gorier shit, so I'm more of a Fulci
Same.
person. That's just who I am. But we all have certain things on my show because there are six of us, and that we talk about. I tend to talk about fashion and makeup. So I have this thing, and so we were watching the uncut version. Sean had not seen this. Um, and we were watching the uncut version, which is only available in Italian dub because when it came to America and we had this long Italian title, which they didn't change for Your Vice is a locked room and only I have the key. I don't know why, but this one, Torso, and they say it a million times.
Yep, they do.
And you're just to the point where you're like, oh my god, get it. But the thing is that so we're watching the uncut version because I don't want it toned down,
Exactly.
and so that's the Italian dub with the subtitles, and I tend to like that better. But the part where our final girl,
I
if you
guess,
want to
yeah.
call her that,
I guess you can label her that if you want.
I've heard her referred to as that, and I guess that's fair. Um,
She's
but
final girl by coincidence, really. You know.
yeah, yeah,
Luck.
our survivor,
Yeah, more of a survivor just because she was sleeping.
survivor. Um, so she turns her ankle. This is a big plot point, and it's a big deal. We have the doctor. I was calling him Doctor Feelgood and all this
Yeah,
stuff
there you
because
go.
Dr.
he had
Dreamy
like those vibes,
are all over him.
Yeah.
because they're like trying. Here's one of our red herrings, the doctor, and he comes up and treats her at this villa where she's staying with her little girlfriends from school, and the next the next morning she's like going downstairs No one's brought me breakfast in bed. I'm the patient. And this bitch with the turned ankle had to lay in bed
Yeah.
and get painkillers and sleeping pills and all these other things, is wearing high-heeled mules. And they're loud. They're very loud. And I'm like, okay, listen, I why in the fuck would you put on high-heeled mules if you just turned your ankle? Plopping down the stairs like a horse. Like, oh my God.
Just try and look your best.
I mean, like, I
Like
don't know.
Monty
They
Python
say
with the
that women
coconuts.
dress for other women. I mean, if I'm just hanging out with my girlfriends at a villa, barefoot,
Yeah.
hobbling on my good leg, not bad ankle, and high heels. You know what I'm saying? So that just like bugged the shit out of me. He's like, okay. And so I guess I'm starting with my two big gripes. That's one,
Let's
and
do
that's
it.
probably just me being Miss Fashion person. But I mean, there's also, we have that scene where the killer comes in, kills all of her girlfriends while she's knocked out on the sleeping pill that kicks in like 2 minutes. I'm like, where are these sleeping pills? How can I locate them and
For
get them
real.
into my life? Because I have
The
trouble
movie
sleeping.
magic pills.
Because she's like, I took the pill. Oh God, it's already kicking in. I'm like, what the fuck are you on? Um,
Roofies.
Call them plot pills. How about that?
Plot pills. Yeah. Turner plot armor as well. Um, but so all the girlfriends get killed, and she, oh no, and then she's watching, the killer come in with his little saw and sawing off limbs, and he carries out, like, I think 3 times a big bloody bag full of body parts.
Yeah.
But then it unfortunately pans to the bodies many times and they're all intact. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what's happening right now? Like, why, what is he cutting off that would fill a bag, but nobody's missing anything? They have their limbs.
Yeah, it did look like he was like sawing off arms, but
Yes, I
but when
mean,
you
like, I
look
think
at
at
him,
one
it's
point
like,
you do see an arm get sawed off,
what?
and like arms are all on the bodies. I'm like, who are you doing this to? Because it's not them.
Hmm.
So,
I
but we
guess
do
she's
have some
just
great eye
tripping.
gouging. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'll say something positive. I love the eye gougings.
Yes. Yeah, that is really, really good.
And
Aaron,
Grant, sorry.
do you have a scene that you maybe have a gripe with, or that you like, that you want to highlight?
Well, so this is kind of stupid and small, but like in the end scene when, the killer and the doctor are fighting
Yeah.
to the cliff, and she's standing there with no reaction whatsoever. She's just like, oh,
Yeah.
oh,
I know.
oh, and then the guy's falling off the cliff. She's just blank faced.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like, you gotta have some kind of reaction to that.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Like I said, it's kind
I
of
was
petty
like,
and
why
stupid.
is she helping?
Yeah, exactly.
Those plot pills are very strong, okay?
She was still having effects.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I was probably like there wasn't like a ton that, like, after the stuff that Candy pointed out, like, now that I'm like thinking about the high heels, I'm like, that's not practical at all.
No, 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 no.
But like that's probably like the main, I know this is not like a dislike, but it's a fun movie, you know.
It is fun. Like, if you want something to kind of shut off your brain, unless you're really trying to figure out who the killer is, this is definitely like, I'm gonna sit down and just throw something on, because you will get, a little bit of enjoyment out of this.
Yeah, that and the lack of the police investigation and all that, because you call yourself a judge. You gotta have.
Man. I really.
That's a conversation for
my biggest gripe is just because how it's cut is when Stefano, he falls, and then it cuts, and then it's him being buried, and you're so confused at this point, because the girls are all like, ah, he falls, cuts to the next day, bells ringing, right? So you got
happened.
You get that he's being buried. You're just like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
And then Jane wakes up, and you're like, what happened to all of her friends? And then it's when we get the the reveal that all of her friends are dead. But like, the cuts that are happening there are just, they bothered me so much. I had to rewind it 5 times to make sure that I wasn't tripping. Like, seriously.
Did I miss something?
Yeah, it's like, there has to be something here that they must have cut out, or something. Maybe they thought that was fine. They didn't shoot anything else. But that scene really, really bugged me. Also, not that this is bugging me at all, but this movie it's super sexual, and I think it's maybe a little too sexual. I don't know
Very
what.
Martino.
Yeah, like I guess that's like that's his style that like he likes to do. He likes to put a lot of sexual stuff into his movies, which is fine. But I think that it was just kind of coming too much. Like this is kind of like borderline like softcore porn in a way.
Oh, yeah.
Not much more of a horror movie, but like but that's like where it was going. I was like, oh, okay, so this is what this movie is about. And then it
I
kind
could
of
have done with less of that and more eye gouging.
yeah, exactly. Like once you get towards the end of the film, it's like, oh, okay, this is what I'm here for. Like, hey, I'm not gonna say I don't like looking at boobs and stuff. Okay, like I'm a
I
man.
like looking at boobs. I'm not
You know,
mad.
I'm a man, so I like that. But I think there's just a lot of weird stuff going on. And the other scene that was kind of weird too to me is when Danny's at like that orgy sex music party in a barn that's all mud and everything, and she's there with the
I was
two
like,
biker
there is
dudes.
no way I would sit in that.
Yeah, like where is this place? So like they start like groping her and stuff, and then she leaves, and then they hop on the bikes, and she's walking through the mud, and she hears them say, if I find her, I'm gonna beat the hell out of her. She's just walking like everything's fine, like
It's misty and mysterious and dark and swampy over here. This is probably where I should just mosey.
yeah, exactly. And I had people trying to look for me on bikes, even though their bikes get stuck in the mud because they're dumb.
Which is funny.
Yeah. And then she sees the figure and like kind of far away, and then I think it just cuts to a different scene. Also, like that's kind of this like end of that. Nothing else really happens. So those are like probably my two gripes of this film. They're not like major or anything. It's just the cutting is what really bugs me in films sometimes. If there's not a smooth transition, and that was not a smooth transition at all.
No, there's a lot of weird cuts in this. It's worse if you see the English version. I mean, it's a little bit better with the uncut Italian version, but not much.
Yeah.
I don't mind like sexuality. I like to look at boobs. I've been watching
Same.
slasher since the 80s. I'm all for it. Like if it bothers you, then you're
staple to
just not
80s
gonna
horror
make
movies.
it. You know, like modern
Exactly.
horror is not as heavy on that. But like if you grew up in the 80s, like I did, it's like boobs. Okay, cool. I
Yeah.
judge boobs. I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, there were some pretty
This
good
one's
ones.
uneven.
There were some pretty
it's
good
pretty
ones in this
symmetrical.
movie.
She's probably about a B cup. You know, but yeah, I find a lot of interesting comparisons between this and a superior film, which is Hitchcock's Frenzy, and it's not even his best film or close to
That's
it.
a good movie.
But I think a lot of frenzy is involved in this, where we've got the scarf, where it was a tie in Hitchcock's, but we just know that Hitchcock is like a complete and utter asshole, but he does
Yeah.
great films
Yeah.
and master of suspense. So I just think that this could have been tightened up a little bit. It's okay to be batshit insane. If you're watching Giallo, you're just in for that.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it just could have been tightened up. There were characters like I really thought that Danny was going to be our main
Same.
protagonist, and that was a nice little. That was something that was done right. So
Mhm.
I was completely invested in her, and then she dies, and I'm like, when she goes downstairs, maybe Danny's not dead, and she isn't quite dead yet.
No.
But she's about to die. She's dying, and then I'm like, oh, okay.
Not her, I
Wow.
guess.
Wasn't
Yeah.
expecting that. So that was good. That was a nice little surprise. Good tension, because then we have this big like shift, and I think that's when the movie starts to kick into gear once we get past the weird cutting off limbs that aren't cut off.
Yeah.
But otherwise we do get actual tension.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. There's
You
some
can tell
really
when,
good
like,
tension at the end of this movie.
When he realizes she's in the house and he's just fucking with her towards the end, like
with the key
yeah.
and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh god, she's
But
locked in that
also,
fucking room.
why would you grab that key? I gotta ask. What? Like, there's a dude in that house, and it's on a newspaper, and she grabs the key. She's like, "Oh, thank God, I got a key." And she opens it, and then like,
He's right there.
I just, to me, like, why? Me, I would have jumped out the
Common
window.
sense isn't a thing in horror.
Well, and here's the thing, even if I was going to exit, because I always kind of put myself in these final girl survival situations, and I'm thinking, even if I got that fucking key,
Yeah,
the dude was just in the house. I'm gonna sit at here. I've been sitting here for a while. I'm just gonna wait this out for a couple
yeah,
hours, you
exactly.
know,
Or at least keep the
and
key
then
away from him
whatever. If
and
he kills me then or tries to chase me, okay, but like at least I gave myself a chance.
Exactly.
Like she was just like immediately like, I'm going to leave this room. And I'm like, dude hasn't even had time to go out the front door. What are you doing?
or like when she pokes her face through the door each time he leaves, and
Yeah.
as soon as he steps through the door, she hears
I'm
the
like,
door.
wait, what are you doing?
Oh
Be a
my
little
god.
like bright about this. Like, no, give it a minute. He's probably still in the fucking house.
Yeah, I do like the scene when she's like in the closet and he's looking at the open window and he closes it. I love that scene. I think that's like beautifully done, and how she's
And
just
the
like, oh
mirror,
shit. Yeah,
that
yeah,
just that shot is really gorgeous.
yeah. There's a lot of really good tension building in this, but you have to wait until the end of the movie, unfortunately, to really get it. Um,
Yeah.
and also like the opening shot of this movie doesn't really do anything for the film. I don't think it's just kind of them
Yeah,
being
just
like, hey,
there.
here's some naked people and we're gonna just
Put a few dolls in
yeah,
there.
and take some pictures, and then we're gonna cut to a guy talking about paintings. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's very a little all over the place, but it's not really a bad thing.
Enjoy.
It has its own flair to it. It's
Mhm.
not really copying too much, even though it does have its inspirations, like you're saying with Frenzy.
Oh yeah, but it's a different kind of
Yeah,
story, but I could see the influence
yeah,
there. Just
exactly.
with the scarf and things like that, and it being this kind of like sexual predator
Yeah,
type. Um, I actually like the reasoning, although it's a little strange. But I mean, what isn't in a giallo? But
that's very true.
with the doll and
Yeah,
so, and we see a couple dolls, where they're trying to plant red herrings. I wasn't completely buying it. Maybe Stefano for a sec,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah. They were playing
Yeah.
because they were playing it up so much
But that's
throughout the
why I
film.
immediately was like, wait,
Yeah. See,
they're playing this up too much. They're not going to give this away right now.
No, no, no,
So
no.
that's why I was immediately like, mark off the list.
strategy
But
is to go to the one to expect, but
Yeah, but even if we do that in Giallo films, sometimes you're wrong.
yeah.
they want you to
Like,
do that. They want you to,
Yup.
okay, we built this up, mark it off. Here's somebody who seems really like they would never be involved in this, and they're probably involved in this, which is a typical shallow trick. Like, oh, almost like a Scooby-Doo moment, I call them, where
yeah,
it's like,
Mhm.
it's old man Withers who ran the amusement park that we saw at the very beginning of the film.
It wasn't for you,
We get a little bit
kids.
of that here.
yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, I thought it was maybe one of the girls. I really thought at the end it was
At
gonna be
one
one of the
point, I did
girls,
for a
but
second.
then that kind of like that fell off like really, really quickly. Um, Also the scarf kiosk dude is like
He was
he was
shady, as
weird.
is.
And like the first time you meet him, he's like looking up Danny's skirt, or at least trying to, and she catches him, and it's just like, I'm like, she's like, I think she says like, yeah, I'm expensive or something like that, so you have to pay me
You
money.
can't afford me.
Yeah, you can't afford me. And then he goes onto the phone. He's talking to some guy, but you don't really know who he's talking to. Like, there's a lot of weird things that happen. Like, you think that, okay, he must be talking to the killer. He has to be.
Because he's
But
trying to extort him.
yeah, and then you're not even sure. And then he reaches that point, and then he gets ran over by the car, which I think was a really good scene. It was
That was
really
a cool
funny.
scene, actually.
And, and him getting smashed into the wall a couple of times. That was
Reminds
good.
me of me.
Oh yeah, the mutilator. Oh god, don't even get me started on that movie
I
again,
know.
Aaron. That oh my god. If you haven't listened to that review yet, that was a movie I don't think I'm ever gonna watch again.
I thought it was going to be like that with Intruder, but I've come to really love it. But it's
Yeah,
definitely better than Mutilator.
yeah. Intruder has a lot of character to it. Mutilator, not so much. It's got some good kills, but that's about it. And I
Sometimes it's all you can get.
Yeah,
It's like,
it was
well,
overall just like
it was really boring. And in this movie, like, there's at points where you are kind of bored during this, like I was, but it kind of
yeah.
picks itself back
Yeah,
up. It gives
it
you
makes up for
something
it.
to want to watch. And I guess the next thing that we can kind of talk about is what was our favorite kill? Candy, do you have one?
I like the eye gouging.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean, you
gonna
can
go
never go
back to
wrong
eye
with that.
gouging because it's something that bothers me. I've talked about this before. On my show, like I get so sensitive about eyeballs, and I'm like the only person in my family who doesn't wear contacts or glasses, but I'm just weird about my eyes. So I like to see a good eye gouging. I just wish there'd been more of it, but that was probably my favorite when that kill was happening and he pokes at her eyes, and I'm like, nice.
Almost one of those kills too that you can kind of feel it, you know, as you're
Right.
Yeah.
That's
watching
how
it.
it
You're
is
like,
with eyeball
"Ooh."
stuff. That's why I get really like,
Mm.
oh wow, we're gonna have an eyeball gouging. Like, okay.
Yeah, that was a really good one. Aaron, do you have one?
Still thinking.
Okay. I mean, there's a
There's a
lot
couple
of
of
them,
them.
but if I have to say fun one, just because it kind of it works up to it, and it's like the beginning of like the sort of craziness of this film, is Carol. I really like that one because she's over there, even though like they were having sex and whatever, and then the stalker's outside, and then her boyfriend runs away, and you don't know what happened to him, and then she goes out and she's all like, "Oh no, where'd he go?" Like the whole like what everybody's doing in this film is just like, "Huh?" And it's looking like a deer in headlights, and then the
Literally here.
yeah, and then the lights shut off, and then she gets killed. That's a really really good one because it kind of does build a little bit of tension there. Even I don't think it really fully succeeds in doing good tension. It's there and it's really trying to, but once the kill happens, I think that's probably my favorite, just because it makes the movie go on, and you're like, I want to see more of this. No.
Yeah, you want to see where it's gonna go.
Yeah,
And
you might
it's
be
just it
disappointed in
suffers
some
from that
points.
like soggy middle kind of
Yeah.
syndrome. Because I think it starts off well, and
Mhm.
then the middle we're all kind of like muddled and confused, and then it picks back up.
Yeah.
Aside from the head cut, I honestly, I like the simplicity of Stefano's death because, like,
Yeah.
it's terrifying to the characters, but like, because they're not expecting it. They're just, it's like, they're like, who's that? Who could be at the door? And then
Yeah.
I love how she's like, who is it? And they're like, what are you doing? Just open the door. So she's like, fine. Up in his.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
And like
And
that's
then you
all.
just see the killer's hands
Yeah,
in
you
the
see that he-
shadows, just like holding the scarf.
And that's what bugs me about that, because you want to see what's gonna happen, and then there's like cut away, and so
Yeah.
you think that maybe the killer left and just left the girls alive. Like that's what I was thinking. I was like, he really just leave them in the house like fine, and then
And again, where are the police? Why didn't they call the police?
exactly like that inspector what
Oh,
was his
well,
name, Enzo or whatever it
yeah.
was. He's like, oh, give me a call if you know anything. Nobody gives him a call. Nobody gives him a chance to
Well,
do
it seems
anything.
like whenever anybody needs to make a call, the phone is unavailable.
That's
That's true.
another thing.
Yeah.
That's a plot device right there. There's some plot armor.
Hmm.
Can't call the police. None of the phones work.
Conveniently.
Even though they were just working like a scene ago, and now they're not working again.
Like right before Danny goes to the villa, it's working, not working.
Yeah, it's like we don't really see the killer do anything of like disarming any
Cutting no phone lines or anything.
all the phone lines we think is intact and whatnot. But there is a few scenes when a payphone is involved, and I like that. I like seeing payphones in movies. This is obviously
Me too.
Anymore.
no. I think I just saw something that I think it was in London or something, that they took out one of the very last payphones in London or something. It was so sad to see that happening.
Shit.
And I know
Like
this,
back when I was in high school, showing my age here, but like we didn't have cell phones, we had beepers.
Yeah,
So
Beepers.
my
when
dad
your
used to
parents
sell
called
those.
you called back from a payphone. Hey, I'm at so and so's house, or hey, we're just out grabbing something at the VP, and I'm gonna go back and sleep at Jan's house. No big deal.
Yeah.
And you'd be out partying all fucking night. They would not know.
Yeah.
And now it's like, social media. Everybody's got cell phones, and
Yeah.
nothing's just, everything's everybody's business now.
Yeah.
I am infinitely glad that there was no social media when I was in high school, because I'd be really fucking embarrassed. Let me tell you.
I think we all would be, though.
Yeah,
Everybody in high
definitely.
school.
I've done some cringy stuff. I've done some really cringy stuff.
I had some really bad haircuts too. Like, no, I thought it was cute. It was the 90s. No.
You live
No,
and
no.
learn, right?
I'm embarrassed of my emo hair, and I'm like, no, I will not show you pictures of that. And that did exist online. I was like, delete.
Yeah, get that out of there really quickly, really quickly.
Once I hit the age where like I realized how cringy MySpace and like how much like what I post and stuff was on there, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting rid of this.
No.
MySpace
Don't even.
does not exist for me anymore once I moved to
I mean,
Facebook,
MySpace
which
was
was
such
around the time that I got pregnant with my son. I was like, I'm out. All this is gone.
Fuck this.
I mean, MySpace was good because you get probably music on your page if you
Oh,
wanted. You
right.
could customize it, so it
was,
had really
I
good
would spend
stuff.
forever trying to find the right song.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh,
You know,
I
one
would
of those
spend
things,
hours.
and I was like, I wasn't even like, I was in my 20s, you know. I had a child and a child on the way, and I'm just like, I'm gonna put My
Yeah.
Chemical Romance on here.
Which theme do I want? Which stickers do I want? Who's gonna be in my top 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was always because somebody would get salty about
Oh,
it.
yep.
Yeah. Oh, man. But back on topic with Torso.
Yeah.
So I always ask myself, if I watch a movie that I think is not that great, would I want to see it remade? And honestly, I think this might be a movie that I would want to see be remade in the modern age, just to see if they could fix some of the weird stuff that happens in it and kind of flesh it out. So would you guys?
I think with the way that horror is, we're having a really good horror renaissance
Exactly.
right now, and I think in the right hands, this could be done extremely well.
Yeah. Let's call it Legs next time, though.
Legs.
We'll call it
It'll be
Legs.
sequel legs.
Or just call it
shoulder.
The Bodies Bear Traces of Carnal
and toes.
Violence.
Yeah. So yeah, I always try to ask myself that, like, if it's a movie that I didn't really enjoy, and if it was in the hands of the right director, honestly,
Yeah, if the right person did.
with Malignant, I think James Wan, if he got a hold of this thing, hell yeah.
Well, when we covered Malignant, which was right around its time of release,
Yeah.
I got to bring up Giallo because there were a lot of Giallo elements
I
to
love
it,
that episode.
and I was really excited about that. I'm
Mhm.
like, it's time to talk about Giallo, guys. I am so excited. I've been waiting for this, and you know, I was like kind of walking everybody through like the elements of Giallo, and I was like, there are a lot of them present here. So
Yeah.
after seeing Malignant, yes, James Wan would do a great job.
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
Yeah, I really would. And we just covered Malignant not that long ago too, and we were just in heaven talking about
And my
Giallo
son
through
was
that.
so obsessed with that movie. I probably watched it about 3 times, but he has like the movie theater poster and all this shit.
Yeah, the soundtrack on that is so good too. I know we're going like all over the place on this episode, but
Well, it's because I'm here and I'm
and-
a chaotic element.
and also
That's all right,
Torso,
though.
it has so much stuff going on,
It's chaos.
and then half of the time the stuff that is going on, it doesn't really mean anything. No.
No.
So if we can
No.
talk about other Giallos, we're gonna do it. You know,
Yeah,
we're
it's
gonna
an
do
open
it.
Discussion.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I do have to say that the main like plaza that they use, with all the groups and everything, I think that's a beautiful spot. I think
Oh, yeah.
they should have done more with
Like
that.
in Perugia, right?
Yeah.
Outside
Loved
of
it.
school area.
Yeah. So I think
That's
if they,
gorgeous.
yeah, if they use that more, like say if the killings were happening there at a night when everybody was kind of gone, there's not many stragglers there.
Put up and
Yeah,
or something.
and then that would be a way for the cops to be,
Get
I guess,
involved in, yeah.
more involved instead of them being like, I'm gonna go to the villa, which I don't. How far away was that from where they were? Did we even get it like
It
a
was
disclosure?
a drive. It was quite a drive because they were out in the countryside, and you know, Perugia with the university and everything was like, you know, like I got to get out of the city, you know, so we're going out to the countryside. So I'm thinking at least an hour and a
Yeah.
half.
Even if like, you know, said like, you know, they're happening but then started getting closer to like where
Yeah.
they were staying and like, you know,
Kind of
to
brought the
build up that
cops
tension.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the cops definitely needed to be more involved. Plus, it would make sense to the plot and our killer reveal if that happened.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know.
And one other thing I gotta bring up too is the creepy fucking uncle. When he's,
I know,
when he's
right?
looking in there, looking at his niece, and she's got the robe on, and he's like, and it's like, what? Why? Why do we
Just
need
to
that?
be a fucking creep, like that's how Martino movies are. Like there's just such a creep element to it, and like that's okay.
Mhm.
It's just, do we have to do that in every film? Like, let's branch out, try some different stuff.
Do a
Yeah.
creepy aunt.
Yeah, we'll do a creepy aunt instead. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that scene was just like,
Well,
why?
like when they're sitting in the tractor waiting for their groceries, and like she's just like laying
And
smoking
she's
a
just
cigarette, and they're all
posing.
drooling over it. Yeah.
And they're talking
I
about
was
her
like,
thighs.
one, in that dress, I would absolutely not be on that fucking dirty tractor like that.
I don't know.
She's just kind of like blank face because that character is very blank faced until
Mhm.
she's being killed.
Yeah.
She's just posing, like,
Yeah.
look at my dress, look at my legs. I have
She
no
knows.
emotions, and I don't care that I'm getting filthy on this tractor.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, that's unrealistic. A woman would not ruin her dress for that.
Ew, there's mud on my dress.
Yeah, and
I
then
mean, I got a cool dress on. I'm not getting on a dirty tractor.
No, exactly.
no.
Thank you. This dress is expensive.
And like the guys after they leave, they're all talking about the girls. Like, oh, you got to go up there, dude. You got to bring food to them, and everything.
I'm
It's
like,
you,
oh, rape vibes, my favorite.
yeah. It's like, yeah, that's where we're going with this. Okay. Luckily,
Yeah.
we didn't go fully there. The guy does get to the house, but
Yeah.
he doesn't make it very far. You know, he ends up being dead with a POV kill, mind you.
Yeah, and that's, well, you go up there with the intent to be a fucking creep. I don't feel sorry for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
But yeah,
They're
everything
coming.
everything in this film, it has such an identity, and the whole ending is, I think, perfect compared to the rest of the film. I think it's really, really the highlight of the film, with the
Yeah.
tension building, with Jane being somewhat smart at times and then not so smart about 85% of the other times.
Right.
I wish that we actually saw all of the girls get killed. I wish we actually saw the process of that
It would have
instead of it,
created more like.
Instead of just like finding them dead.
Yeah.
or like with them being killed and Jane, like they were all dying and she heard them screaming or something and she got knocked like out of her sleep. I think that would have been really, really cool too, and kind of have a last stand. But I know they had to find a way to get the Doctor Dude to come up to the house, even though her method of doing that was weird with a mirror in in the window. I mean,
That's not even why he came. He happened to stop
yeah,
Yeah.
at that gas station and see her car.
yeah. So like, the thing is, he was looking up there too when she was doing it. And he was like, whatever.
And it was like 2 seconds too late.
Yeah,
So it's like, you're like, oh, fuck. That was
Yeah.
a cool shot. That could have been really cool. But
yeah. But in all honesty, if you were in that situation, would you be thinking of, I'm gonna grab a mirror and shine it out the window and think someone's gonna look at that and think it's a help? Like, help me.
I mean, I guess if you're
I'd be like, what the
desperate
hell's going on up there? That's weird.
Somebody's having a
Anyway,
party.
back to my day.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, that's a weird glare.
I'd be looking for a weapon. You
Yeah,
can
right.
break a
Who's trying
mirror
to
and
kill
get a
me?
sharp piece of glass to stab somebody. Like, I guess that's just final girl mentality here. But
Yeah,
hmm
I don't know, man. Weapons.
yeah.
I'd find a weapon.
Like when she starts shoving everything into the closet, I thought she was getting ready to take the blankets and like try and climb out the window.
Yeah,
I
and
thought
then
she was
Yeah,
trying to,
yeah. I mean, that would have actually made more sense than like, I'm just gonna roll up the mattress, which is, when a house is closed up, or it's just like a seasonal home,
mhm,
a lot of times they would do that.
yeah.
yeah,
So make it look like nobody had ever stayed in that room.
Yeah.
And all the food and all the such. I'm like, you could use this time to make a weapon. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, she uses a hanger. Come on,
yeah,
shit.
exactly.
Get a whole
And you get
closet
an eye
right there.
gouge.
Yeah, yep. You get an eye gouge.
Eye
Yeah.
gouge. I like it.
Yeah,
But
I
in
really,
Giallo, you tend to get a lot of eye gouges. But
yeah,
if I can jump in for 1 second, it's
Sure.
really hard for me. We have this great, I mean, it works for this film, but I can't help comparing it. So when we have our final confrontation
yeah,
between Dr. Feelgood, I can't remember his name,
Dr.
Dr.
Dude.
Feelgood and like our with Franz, who long since figured that one out. But you can't tell who falls, just that
yeah,
someone falls. But you're getting these flashbacks as to why he did this stuff. It still doesn't quite hold up, but okay, I'll
Yeah,
accept
yeah.
it. It works. It'll fly. But I can't. My immediate thought was the wonderful ending of "Don't torture a duckling." That's Fulci.
mhm.
And we had that great where we saw the fall, but that would reveal who won the fight. And actually, there's an alternate ending to this where Franz wins. So that's why they kept it dark, but they ended up going with, the victorious win. And she's like, "Yay, I didn't do anything to help, but we won."
Yeah.
Um, but I still think like it would have probably been heavy hitting if like we'd seen more of it instead of
Mhm.
leaving it in darkness. That's just a personal preference, I think. Maybe I'm just too influenced by other
No,
I
I
agree.
directors.
agree with you on that. And honestly, with you saying it was an alternate ending, I was I was rooting for Franz to actually win to come out and kill Jane. I
It
really
would have
was.
been
I
a
was like,
really
that's
cool
it's gonna
ending.
Because
happen.
that's not every movie does that. Normally, it's she survives, and
Exactly.
it would have been like something different.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
have
and,
loved
and I
it.
just felt like this was a kind of by the numbers, but also
Yeah.
outside the lines
Yeah,
type of Giallo.
yeah,
So, just trying to do something different in this like oversaturated genre.
yeah,
And it's like, okay, I mean, I will accept it. I liked it, but could
Could
it
have been
have been
better.
better?
yeah.
Yeah,
And like, I know you probably aren't really supposed to laugh at this part, but when we get the
I
flashback
probably will then.
of Franz, he or Franz, however you want to say it, he's there with his friends when they were kids, and the kid's trying to grab the doll, and then he flies
I'm like,
off the
dude,
hill.
launched.
dramatic.
I laughed. I fucking laughed my ass off. I'm like, God damn, how did that happen?
I was like, what?
There goes
I-
my-
Dude,
it
like
reminds me
help
of-
him or like
I was
what?
dying. I was like,
How do you
this. I know
fall
it's,
like that?
it's supposed to be very, a very like kind of like not like a heartfelt moment, but like a turning point for you to feel like sadness or whatever for him. But just seeing the doll, just
Yeah, it
fly-
takes you right out of it. Like nobody falls like that, especially if they don't want to fall, unless he had some suicidal ideation. It's like, fuck, just gonna go for it. I'm already falling. I'm just going.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh my
flying.
god. It was.
So I laughed. I completely
I
fucking
did.
laughed.
I had to pause. I was just like, did that really just happen?
Yes.
Did that
And
really just
Sean
happen?
and I were fucking rolling about it.
And,
All right, throw the doll.
Yeah,
Too far.
and also, why are they going to get this doll at the edge of a cliff? We never really get like a lot of
Oh
explanations.
well, they were talking about it because the unseen girl. Because they were taunting her like, well, I'll get your doll, but you
Yeah.
have to show me, lift up your skirt. And she's not wanting to do it.
Yeah.
And then she finally agrees because she really wants her doll. So the brother, who I assume is the one doing the taunting,
Yeah.
um, goes to get the doll and then launches off the side. Um, and so then he hates women and their eyes need to be poked out, and he's got an obsession with dolls that he hates and seems to love at the same time. I don't know. I don't know how this
It's
works.
very confusing.
Talk about how
That's what I'm saying. Like this movie is like it hurts, and we for the payoff that we get, I don't want my brain to hurt like that.
Exactly.
Like, what's going on?
Exactly.
That doll.
I
Is
want to be
creepy as hell, though.
confused
Who
and,
wants
and,
that?
and exhilarated and some wild shit and I want tense and
Mhm.
all that, but it has to have some sort of payoff and linear, just a little bit. Keep us guessing,
Hmm.
but don't just throw a bunch of shit at me like
Like
that
kids off
doesn't even
cliffs.
matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Superman going off the cliff, because that's literally what it looked
Fuck your
like.
doll. Zoom.
Oh man. One of the other kills too. I forget who it was. Because like the killer, like he kills the women and then he starts like playing with like their breasts and stuff like that. That's creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
the first
that happened
time,
a lot.
yeah. But the first time he does it, I think it's with Carol's when he like splits open her chest.
Yes.
But we don't really see much of that. I was like, what? Why is he doing that? So he must be like taking. Like, I don't even know. Bless you, by the way. So was he like removing the breasts to make him like a doll? Like I was kind of thinking like that.
I mean, I thought so, but it's not like Martino to shy away from that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I think he was just like, well, being this sort of like psychosexual predator, it's just like, well, I can do it now and I don't
Yeah.
feel like threatened or, you know, uncomfortable because she can't talk back to me or she can't say something that will trigger me. I can just touch all the boobies I want.
Yeah. It's creepy as hell. Like, guys, we don't be groping people, especially if they're dead. Like
Yeah,
that's so
really not
fucked
cool.
up.
Definitely non-consensual.
Yeah, that's so fucked up. even if you are a serial killer, don't be doing that. But don't be a serial
Yeah.
killer.
And if you can, refrain from being a serial killer.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that was kind of throwing me off, like why he was doing that, because I was trying to think like why would he be doing that, but
Like that would have been a cool like way to for the show though. You
But
know,
it would-
kind
it
of
would-
like what was it, Tourist Trap with like the fucking is it Tourist Trap I'm thinking of where they kind of like turn.
yeah,
Yeah,
a Tourist
I
Trap.
actually love Tourist Trap.
Yeah, that's a good one that we reviewed.
I like Tourist
we
Trap
gave it,
a
I
lot.
think, like an 8 or maybe a 9. That's a really good movie.
A lot of
Um,
people underrate it. You know, it's a Charles
liked
Band
it.
movie, but
Yeah.
I'm just like, I think it's
It's
good. I mean, the
fascinating.
twist is so predictable, but it's still fun.
Exactly.
It's still a fun
Exactly.
movie.
Yeah. Um,
I
And-
thought that's the direction they were going at first. You
yeah,
know?
it would fit with the whole doll thing, with being like making them look like dolls and whatnot, and like having a stash of
and
human
like the
dolls.
whole reference of like you know, they're just dolls filled with blood and meat or whatever. You know, it's like I'm gonna turn them into dolls. That's
Yeah.
what I thought he was gonna.
And
do.
it's all because one, he had the trauma as a child, but also he had a menage a trois with two of his students, and they were blackmailing him.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's gonna kill everyone, all
Yeah.
the women, and be like a sexual predator to them as they're dead.
Yeah. And I know they were doing this like whole like Christianity painting like montage like sometimes, and they were kind of just like talking about that and doing a bunch of dialogue. I tuned all that out. I'm like I don't care. This is like all useless plot to me.
I was interested in it because it was my minor in college is art history and
Okay.
humanities.
Yeah.
It's where I learned Latin. I actually started in high school, but I thought that was interesting because like when we talk about like Italian history, one of the most important movements in art was the Renaissance time period, which was
Yeah.
all inspired by religious works. So it made sense to me, but I think you have to be kind of a geek to know that. Like you have to have studied that and know these things. Otherwise, it's like this is fucking boring. Like otherwise, I probably would have thought it was boring. But I
Yeah.
was like, oh yeah, that's an interesting. Oh, we're talking about the Pietà. That there are so many great works of that. And so I'm sitting there like geeking out to like art, and then I'm like, that's interesting, and then that goes away, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like I was trying to focus on it, but I was just like, this is too much. I want to know what's happening with the killings. I know that what Giallo.
That's the point of the movie. So it's like
Yeah.
it's really like an Easter egg for people who like specific types of art from long time ago.
Yeah.
It's not really strengthening whatsoever
No.
the thin plot that we have.
Yeah,
So
I
I felt like
guess
those kind of went over long.
in their defense, they're probably trying to do it to build him up to not be the killer, to kind of have him, be more upfront. So you'd be thinking like, okay, it's not him because obviously like he's really cool with all of his students and whatnot. It's weird that he's always hanging out with the girls. So you that's when you really start
And very
making that connection.
inappropriate that he would get involved, when he starts,
Yeah.
flirting with Jane, you're like, ew,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, and then
Even
that's
though you're in
when you
college,
make
there's
it.
still a confidentiality. There's a breach there. That's not right.
Exactly. Yeah. That's when you start like thinking like, oh, okay, so it's got to be him now because you're thinking
Correct.
that. Because everybody else, because there's like, I had to count how many red herrings there are. There's got to be at least more than 5. Like,
Oh,
'cause there's a
absolutely.
lot.
Which is that's high. I mean,
Yeah.
usually 5 would be a lot. I mean, you want to have enough that to keep people guessing and
Yeah.
have it be almost androgynous unless you're because a lot of the times it seems very male and then the killer's a female
Yeah.
or something like that in Giallo films, but like in this one it was pretty clear. And then so you're just looking at the men, because I
Exactly.
never suspected any of the women. The women were being victimized, and I was thinking, okay. And we got this doll thing going on, and we had this weird scene at the beginning that doesn't even make sense to the whole
No, it
movie.
doesn't.
Where you see the thing that he was being blackmailed about, the menage a trois with like the dolls around it though. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I already feel uncomfortable about this. But but it's something that you don't get till the very, very end of the movie that you're like, oh, that's what that was. Because I thought it was just some kind of artful softcore porn or something.
Yeah. I actually want to pull up what the description is for this movie because it's kind of funny. So
bet.
I'm gonna read it off of Shudder because Shudder has everything amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And they say a sexy student is stalked by a serial strangler, and is classic from the Grand Giallo duo, director Sergio Martino and writer um, Ernesto. Oh God, I'm awful with names. Gasaldi, I guess is what you would say.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of go on to that. But the first sentence: a sexy student is stalked by a serial strangler. Just reading that, you're just like, okay. It's like, are we must be going down like the borderline between like softcore porn and horror, because that's what I was getting on before I even watched this. This week was the first time I ever watched Torso. Um, I
Oh,
mean,
okay. And you watched it on Shutter, so you saw the Italian unrated cut.
yeah, yep.
Good.
Yeah, and because I've been meaning to watch this for a while, so that's why I put it on the list for this year. I was like, okay, I need to start watching more things than this Argento. So I was like, okay, let's do this one. We'll do it. So I was like, Aaron, you want to do Torso? I was like, yeah, I've never seen it. I'm like, okay, cool. You haven't seen half this movie to do anyway. So we did it, and we watched it, and I don't know, like we're saying right here, I'm kind of like in the middle, like all the other reviews. I'm just like, that's how I'm feeling about it. I'm not feeling. Yeah, I'm not like it's not awful, but it's
Potentially
not
it
great.
had a lot of potential, and
Definitely.
like things with a lot of potential. I mean, that means there's some potential to not work out completely,
Yeah. Oh
and
my.
I think that's what we're looking
Gotta
at
take
here.
a
Like,
risk.
some things were good, but not enough of it was good to outweigh
Exactly.
what detracts from it.
Oh my God. We need to start reading
The Shutter
the
reviews.
Shutter reviews, because all of them are classic. Classic. Great Giallo. Classic. Great film. Great score. I'm like, wow. People love this film on Shutter.
You would be
Um,
surprised at some of the films that we've done. One that I won't name because you guys might like it.
oh
That
no,
I
do it. Do it.
absolutely
Name it.
destroyed on our show. Like, I was like, I don't understand why people love this movie. I rented it on accident in the 80s because it seemed cool. Didn't even have a cool cover, but the name seemed like something I would like. Hard Rock Zombies, I'll just say it.
I have seen
Hard
that
Rock
movie. That's
Zombies.
been.
Don't watch it. Don't
Okay.
ever.
No,
Don't even revisit it.
I
I
really
mean, I'm just
think I
doing this for your
rented
health.
that when video store rentals were around. I think I rented that one weekend with my stepfather and I watched it, but I don't remember a lot of it.
Don't just
So
don't even recall. Like, it's you probably blocked it out. It's important
maybe.
that you do
But now
that
that you're
because
saying that,
otherwise
I
it's
need to
hard
go
to
watch it
live.
now, Candy. You're making me want to go
No.
get it.
Oh God, you're
It
gonna
sounds
text
like a
me on
generic.
Twitter and you're gonna be like, Jesus Christ, Candy, why? Um,
No, I'm gonna
I
come back and be like,
destroyed
this is the
that fucking
greatest
movie,
movie
and
ever.
Hard
somebody
Rock
got
Zombies.
so mad. I mean, this was early season 2 when we first started doing single titles. Somebody who's no longer on our show kind of went head to head with me on it, and I'm just like, you never heard of this movie before I introduced you to it, and I was just at that point torturing um everybody on the show, which I decided not to do anymore. But because I make the schedule, so I'm just kind of like, I will listen to your suggestions and I will make the schedule and we're gonna see what's on it because I made the schedule. But yeah, back then I was torturing everybody and I'm like, I hate this movie. So now we're gonna talk about it. And then everybody, all the super fans came out of the woodwork, like, how dare you? And I'm like, have you seen this movie? I rented it. Like, my mom, she worked at a video store. So I basically grew up in a video store. And then I went on to work in a lot of mom and pop video stores, and a little bit of evil Blockbuster. I don't like Blockbuster. I worked there when we had to get rid of the horror section. I'm like, my life is over. I hate this. Why are you making me do this? Anyway, but yeah, so my mom worked in this mom and pop video store, and I was just like, it was one of those, like, all the shit that I wanted to watch wasn't in. It did not have full cover art. Watch that shit, and I was just like, oh God, I was depressed. I was just depressed that a movie could be that bad.
Yeah.
Honestly, the title alone kind of makes it sound like a ripoff of like Return of the Living Dead esque, like
Yeah.
Hard Rock Zombies.
It's there are no comparisons.
I figured.
None.
Just going by what you say.
Now,
about it.
now that we're talking about it, everybody's gonna come out and be like, "You gotta go watch Hard Work Zombies now. Go do it. Go do it. Go do it." So you know what?
You'll hit me. You can. I mean, I'm trying to save your life.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
trying to save your life.
if I have free time, how about this? I'll do it and I'll get back to you with how I feel and if I remember.
He's gonna love it.
What's gonna happen? Probably within the first like 5 or 10 minutes, the memory's gonna come back, and I'm probably gonna either be like, "Yeah, this is sick," or I'm gonna
You're
be
gonna
like,
be
"Yeah,
like
no, this is
PTSD.
awful."
Like, oh no, this is why I blocked it out.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, there are bad movies that exist that people absolutely adore, and
Yeah.
oh, total classic. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
no.
But anyway, I guess we can probably get to our final thoughts. Do we have anything else that we want to kind of pinpoint in Torso? I think I highlighted pretty much all the important parts. So if Candy or Aaron, if you guys have anything that you wanted to shout out before we get to our final ratings, go right ahead.
I was gonna suggest maybe a couple other Martino movies you might
Do it.
enjoy a little bit more. Your Vice's Locked Room and Only I Have the Key. It's absolutely batshit crazy.
Yeah.
But it's a classic in the genre and it's worth watching at least once. It pulls heavily from the Black Cat story. That's important. And then just goes crazy from there. But that it's a little bit more enjoyable of a ride. There's All the Colors of Dark, which is really also fucked up. Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward, which is considered, well, it actually is Martino's first Giallo film.
Okay.
So, and The Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward is kind of, it plays into Your Vice's Locked Room and Only I Have the Key.
Mm-hmm.
But Martino is not my favorite director in the genre whatsoever. So I'm gonna say, like, if you're looking for gore, go to Fulci.
Yeah,
If you're looking
exactly.
for some really cool cinematography, go to Argento, and better story too. If you're looking for like the real good, like classic Giallo, go to Bava.
Yeah, and I agree on that too. I mean, those are the masters. Those are the ones everybody talks about. And Martino is definitely not one that gets brought up a lot, and I think that's probably for reasons.
Surprisingly more often than you think.
Really, I don't really ever hear that much of him.
Well, it depends on who you're talking to and how immersed into the Giallo
Mm-hmm.
genre they are, which I like Giallo.
Yeah.
So I was talking to another person that I cannot name, but you know who you are. And there we were talking about like our top 10 Giallo. Mine's mostly Martino, and I was like, oh God.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no. But I was like, okay, that's your thing. That's cool.
Yeah.
There are people that love it. I don't hate it. I just think there's better stuff. Like, give me Fulci gore all day.
Yes. I mean, we're all gore hounds, I think, at heart. For most of like the horror community, I think we all really like gore. I mean, not to say that we don't like story as well, characters, but like
we need both.
Yeah, I love seeing people get ripped apart. I'm sorry, it's fun
but
as hell.
I also want that meaning behind it.
Yeah, I need meaning with that rip.
Yeah, because the gore doesn't mean as much if it's not backed by a decent plot.
Exactly.
And basics, storytelling elements. So that means it pays off more.
Yeah, that's true. Do you have anything you want to touch on, Aaron?
I got all the scenes and whatnot that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
I didn't have too much to say about this one, so.
Okay, so I guess we'll go to our actual ratings. Candy, I'll let you start off since you are a guest. What do you want to rate this out of 10?
I'm known to be a generous rater.
Yeah, I think I am too, except for the mutilator.
Well, and we all have our ones that just kill us, and I mentioned mine. The ones where we were just like, man, I can't give this more than this.
Yeah.
So I tend to rate high. I'm not a critic, and I always say that on the House of Screams. I am not a critic. I'm just somebody who rates about, I know what a good story is, and I know, and just being in the genre for so long, I know what I expect out of a film, and knowing Giallo the way I do, I know what I expect out of film. So I couldn't give this higher than a 5.5. And the 0.5 is for potential.
Yeah.
There's potential.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be ignored. The film, people should see it just to say, hey, I have that and I can add that to my repertoire, when I'm getting in these conversations and compare it to other maybe Giallo films or slasher films. But yeah, 5.5 out of 10.
All right. What about you, Aaron?
Low for me.
Well, I mean, it was average, it wasn't like anything spectacular, it didn't like set itself apart too much, and the stuff we went over, it has its flaws like any movie, but that being said, I'll give it 6.5.
Oh, he's been real generous. Okay,
yeah, that's pretty generous.
I'm aligning with Candy. I was gonna go 5.5 too because the potential is there. Like I said, I think if this was,
a lot could have been done with it. Yeah.
If this was remade today and got fleshed out, obviously I would get a different rating. But I think that would be a higher rating than what this one is.
I can pretty much guarantee that.
Yeah, I think if any director got the hands on this, I think it would do better than the actual original. Sorry,
Be like, let's
Martino.
take this and make a story out of it.
Yeah. What's
Even just
actually
taking the concept and like
yeah?
just
Let's take out some of the red herrings and make the some of them more impactful. How about that? Instead of
Yeah.
just throwing them in there just to kind of put you through a loop, because that you kind of get to that point where you're just like, okay, enough is enough. I want to know what's
Exhausted.
going on. Stop throwing these curveballs at me every 15 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever it may be. Because it is a sweet spot movie. It's 90 minutes, and that's perfect. I think if it was any bit longer, I would have toned out. I'd be like, nope, I'm not finishing this.
It still felt longer, and
Yeah,
that's not a
yep.
good thing.
Mhm.
It did feel about 2 hours long.
Yeah, and that's not a good thing.
No,
If
you
it
want
was
to watch a 4 hour movie, make it feel like an hour and a half.
yeah,
Yeah.
if this was like a really fun movie and it felt like it was maybe 2 hours, then that would be like a good thing. But this is a movie that's like in the middle that felt way too long.
Yeah.
But 5.5 out of 10 blood splatters for me. Yeah, I think there's definitely stuff that could have been better. Definitely. I think we can move on to our
Comments from the void.
comments from the void segment, where we ask everybody in the community where they want to put their words and thoughts and comments and reviews onto the movies that we do. And I did mention this really late this week because we had a lot of interviews, and I put it out today, so I'm surprised we actually have a couple of responses to this, and they're actually pretty positive. We've
Yep.
got Jiggy Horror Corner. They say, I've never personally found Torso amazing, but I do rather enjoy the tense finale, and the mystery behind the scarf is a lot of fun. Not a Giallo that I would necessarily watch that often, but enjoyable nonetheless. And that's kind of like what we were saying.
Yeah.
So I can definitely align with that one. Aaron, I'll let you read another one so you can pass it off.
Bell is the finale inspired by is it Fleischer's? I probably butchered that. See No Evil is the best part. I like the film. The special gore effects are not very good, which hurts. It's just not a director Martino's best by. It's just it's good, just not director Martino's best by any.
Which is what we were talking about. How he does
Yeah.
have other ones that definitely hit a little bit harder, and you can kind of say that about any director. I can't think of one director, maybe James Wan, that has done something amazing every time he's put out something. It's always been a hit. But there are ones in there that you're kind of just like Insidious. I'm not a huge fan of. I do like the first Conjuring because it does build some stuff. But yeah, I can't really think of any director or writer that has came out and had like a super big hit every single time. You kind of grow as you go.
Well, Ari Aster doesn't have a huge body of work yet to do that, but so
Yeah,
far
he's
his movies are doing well, and I
yeah,
hope that continues.
yeah,
And Anna Biller,
yeah. This
she also hasn't done a lot of movies,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's the body of work that we need sort of to judge that.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean,
I'm just hopeful.
yeah, I mean, it also really depends on how long they've been doing things too. So in our final one, Chuck E. Kramer. Yeah, I agree. Middle of the road Giallo, but entertaining. Yeah. So everybody's in that middle ground, where it's like it's good. It's not amazing. It's good. Is this a movie I'm probably gonna go back to and watch in like a month or two? No. I'll definitely pick other ones and go watch ones I haven't seen before. Because I do want to, eventually get through. There's thousands of Giallo movies out there from, by directors
Thousands. Yes.
that we don't even talk about. But I want to at least get through all of the major ones because there's definitely ones I haven't seen. And I'm also going to be doing them with Aaron, so he can, watch them first time as well and watch ones that I've seen that he hasn't seen. And that's the beauty of the show is like I say all the time, Aaron did this for me because he wants to kind of learn the ropes of horror and get through all these films. He hasn't seen that much, so he's getting there with the Giallo films, and he's understanding them, in the way that everybody should, in positive ways, and not tearing them apart. Because there are people out there who absolutely hate Giallo films, and
But they
I
don't
think they're
realize
charming.
like the importance that it serves in the horror, verse basically,
exactly,
because without Giallo, we don't have slashers. And
yeah,
what would the 80s have been for horror? It would have been more like the 90s, not so great.
yeah, and
Where they
honestly,
were like trying to tone everything down. And it's like,
yeah, I mean, Giallos were originally the first. Well, I don't know if I would say like the first, but like the first like mainstream like whodunit type thing. So we wouldn't even have Scream if we didn't have Giallo films, because it's it kind of aligns with the whodunit type thing. And there are, I guess, if you do think of it that way, would you consider Scream a slight Giallo? Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I think all,
That
well, not all, but a lot
It's
of
got aspects
slashers.
of it.
it
Like
definitely
let's look at the
does.
first Friday 13th.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
we don't know in the first film. And then there's also one of my favorites, Sleepaway Camp. That's
Oh
very
yeah.
Us too.
Giallo.
Yeah,
I love Sleepaway Camp. And so there are some that kind of held on to that, but slashers sort of became their own thing, but
yeah,
they would not have ever been a thing had they not been like, wow, this Giallo shit's pretty cool. I'm gonna do some of that, and we're gonna do it in America, and we're just gonna go like all fucking out. And
yeah,
that's where like the heavy hitters, the first real heavy hitters started coming out was late 70s, early 80s when Giallo was still going on. And so that's why I always telling people like, you should just dip your toes in because it's just part of horror history. And everybody's
exactly.
like, I love slashers. I'm like, well, you need to look like at least immerse in this. And everybody's seen Suspiria, but I'm like, there's more,
Yeah,
there's more out there that you should check out. And I don't say like check out everybody, but I can recommend. And you'll see those influences, and then the influences that came before Giallo, and
exactly.
and how it progressed, and just look up the background of Giallo. It's very fascinating how it
Yeah,
came about. So there's a lot there. And I think that, any horror fan worth their salt is just gonna like, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna check that out. And there's quite a bit of it. And there's a great documentary at the time of this recording, on Shutter called All the Colors of
yeah.
Giallo.
It's
It
really
is in
good.
Italian, obviously, but like Argento's on there. A lot of the heavy hitters that are still
It's
alive.
really good.
A
Shutter's been
lot of
doing
them.
great with their documentaries. I really do have to say, like,
They have the best
it's really
documentaries, the
good.
best series, the best. They show a lot of cool movies.
Yeah.
And I know a secret thing about Torso that I can't say on the air, but I can tell you after.
Okay. Okay.
I can't.
And one other thing I do want to say is that there is kind of like a renaissance for giallo films in the U.S. right now. If people aren't really catching on to that, like the biggest one that we can talk about, which we already said, was *Malignant*. That is at heart, it's a giallo film with a lot of other like elements in it, and also another one that that's very close to us where we are is *Death Drop Gorgeous*. That's a giallo film, and they are literally like one state away from us, and we just interviewed them not that long ago. They're in Rhode Island, and we're in Massachusetts, and they're really really cool people. So if you haven't seen those two movies, definitely go see it. I know there's more out there, but the big ones that I can think of right now are those two. So it is kind of coming back around in its own way, and kind of like giving it a whole new face. So yeah, the Italians definitely started something really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so fun. And I'm just really glad to see, even in the new Scream, there were elements
Yeah.
that were not present in the other Scream movies that made this one a lot more enjoyable. Because it is well known that I am not a fan of that franchise,
Hmm.
but I really enjoyed, because I had to go see it in theaters for the show, and I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. I was like, they really went there with the gore. They really
Yeah.
went there with the more giallo elements. So it's definitely something that's absolutely like topical right now. And it's best to get in there and learn some stuff. And you don't have to know everything. Just enjoy it, appreciate it, and you'll just come out richer for it.
And
Yeah.
I would say the one that you do need to watch, everybody needs to at some point, is Tenebrae, because that one,
I was just watching Tenebrae last night.
that's a genius one, and obviously Joe
It
Bobby
has
showed
my
it
man in
too.
it, John Saxon too.
It's really really good. So if you want to watch like a pinnacle of like what a giallo really is and how like bad shit it can get, Tenebrae definitely throws you through a couple of loops. So definitely check that one out. Um, any other ones, definitely check out like Bava and all that stuff. All the classics. I'm sure you could probably find like a DVD set of like, I don't know, like the ones that you need to watch. There's got to
The
be something
essentials.
out there, like the essential Giallo movies.
Yeah, I think a really cool thing to start with is the documentaries on Shudder tend
Yeah,
to stay longer than the films because they cycle through those pretty quickly.
yeah,
Is to go and watch that All the Colors of Giallo. You're gonna get your history. They're gonna recommend all these films.
hmm,
It's really fascinating. As
yeah.
as long as you don't mind subtitles, which some people do, and I don't
I
understand.
put subtitles on
I love
everything.
subtitles. I need them.
My kids do that, and that kind of bugs me, but it's only if like they're speaking like super fast. Like I can hang with Italian, but I can't hang with all of that. They're like
Mhm.
throwing, there's like German stuff coming out. And I'm like, I don't know German. I don't understand what's happening. Um, but it's really, really great. And it's shot beautifully. I mean, even the documentary is beautiful. So
Yeah,
yeah, worth it. Good starter.
yeah, definitely. And obviously, Shudder has their own like Giallo section too, so you can scroll through that.
Yes.
So, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there for you guys to watch. But Candy, before we end, if you want to let everybody know where they can find you and what your show is doing, if there's anything you want to announce, you got the floor.
Um, I try to, since I'm sort of the mouth and usually the face, because I do all of our socials of the house that screams. I'm trying to think of what we have coming up, but we release stuff really strangely because we record sometimes 2, 3 times a week.
Hmm.
So you'll get something like Monster Squad that we recorded in like March or something that just came out, but the one before it had just been recorded the week before. So we have our new series Brain Eaters coming out where we do a lot because we've done some horror fiction in the past. That's We've got one of those coming out as of next week of this recording. um our first one's coming out, and then the second one's really going to be exciting. But so yeah, basically just more movies, more books, but we have an official book thing, so there will be a lot more books. But you can find everything in my link tree, which is linktree/Katie the Final Girl. I'm the one that runs our Twitter, which you can tell with all the hearts and flowers, because I'm very girly. But that's at house_screams and Katie Final Girl on Instagram.
Yep, and all those links would be below too.
Thank you.
Some of the cool stuff that we got going on, I think I'm able to say some of the guests that we got lined up, so everybody can kind of get a taste of what we're going to be getting into. Because each week we've been lining up like 3 to 4 guests throughout the whole week, and my intention was to kind of bank them and put them all out within like a couple of months, but I haven't been doing that. I've just been kind of putting them out whenever. So Tuesday we got Chris
The House of
Tansky.
Screams approach.
Yeah, we got Chris Tansky from Fright Rags coming on, which is going to be fucking awesome. And on Wednesday we got David Howard Thornton coming on, which is really, really cool. And then Friday we got Frank Farrell. He was a producer on Spookies and also was Street Trash, which is going to be really, really, really cool. So
Straight trash.
we have a lot of really cool stuff coming on. And next weekend I think we have some of the Slayaway crew coming on to cover Dead Alive or Brain Dead, wherever you may be. So that's going to be super duper fun, and I can't wait for that
I'm
one.
looking forward to that. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's so good. It's really, really fun.
It grosses Sean out, which cracks me up because I'll eat and watch it, and he's just like,
Yeah.
I feel sick at this part." And I'm like, "Oh, you pussy."
Yeah. But those are the things that we're recording next week. They probably won't be dropping until the following week. But for everybody who wants to know what is coming out next week, we got Jill oh my God, Gavargazian. I always say her last name so wrong. That's dropping on Tuesday. And then we have Paul Owens, who did Landlocked, is dropping on Wednesday. And obviously this will be out on Monday. And for all of our Patreons, that will be out tomorrow night. So looking forward to all this awesome stuff that's going on. And also Craig Singer next Friday. So there's a lot of episodes coming out next week. So
I'm
you guys,
excited for you guys. It's a bit overwhelming, but very exciting
yeah,
when things start rolling like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
But it's
and,
also like, I'm so tired.
yeah, it's super fun, and doing the whole interview thing has definitely, I think, livened up this podcast as well instead of just doing reviews. So
And I will tell you that everyone from Fright Rags is fucking amazing.
yeah, I was talking to some of them through email, and the only one that was available at the time was Chris, and I was like, you know what, dude, if you want to come on, let's do it. So I'm super super excited. I was trying to get Ben because I know you guys interviewed Ben
Yeah,
not that
we
long
did.
ago.
We interviewed with Ben, and God, he is the nicest guy.
Hmm.
I mean, like literally, you cannot meet a nicer guy. But really, everybody on that staff is amazing.
Yeah.
'Cause I talk to them all the time, so like they're superheroes. They're great.
Yeah, they are really really cool. And one of the highlights that I think we put out this week was our revealer interview. So if anybody hasn't listened to that one, make sure you do that because that was an awesome episode. And when that movie drops, make sure you watch it because I think everybody's gonna be blown away. Like Candy, I think you're gonna love it. I really do. When it drops, you're
I
gonna be
haven't
like,
gotten to that yet, but I will. I tend to watch you guys' videos, but I think I get so I don't know,
yeah,
discombobulated sometimes. Like I get these like crazy weeks, and I'm like, and then I have to like marathon everybody's stuff.
yeah.
So
I'm the same way.
gonna get there.
Yeah, but when that movie comes out, June 23rd, make sure everybody watches it on Shudder because holy shit, with the early screening that we got of it, I think it's my favorite movie of the year. So yeah, I hope everybody feels the same way. But Candy, thank you for coming on and always chatting. It's always a delight to have you on screen and just chatting with you, even if it's in your show. And if you're on over here, tell Sean that we said hi because we miss him.
Oh, he said to tell you hi. What am I thinking? Oh my god.
We miss him. He's great.
Yeah,
So
yeah, he said to tell you guys hi, and what did I not do? Thank you for reminding me.
yeah. Well, hi Sean. And
What's up, Sean?
she definitely told us that you said hi. It's okay. She definitely said at the beginning. It's
Totally
fine.
remembered it.
Yeah, everything's good. So yeah, thank you, Candy, for being here. I know that
You guys are always welcome.
you got some stuff going on tonight, so I don't want to hold you for too long. So this was
Gotta go see some new Cronenberg.
Ooh.
I'm gonna try to see it this week. This message me after if it's a yay or a nay. Okay, that's all.
I will do that.
So
I will do that.
because I love Cronenberg, and I think everybody kind of does. Maybe some people think he goes a little too far, but I mean, it's Cronenberg.
Well, I liked when I heard everybody was walking out. I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm in. That's just me.
yeah, and I'm also gonna watch.
I want to do this.
Gotta watch Dash Cam this week too because I just got on streaming, so I gotta watch that too. So there's a lot of really really cool stuff coming out right now in the horror realm. Please keep your eyes
Last year was a
peeled.
banner year, so this year is already shaping up to be better. And I'm like, wow, this is great.
Because everything that was delayed is coming out now, so it's just like
Right.
we're just getting. It's same with like video games right now too. Everything was delayed and it's like all coming out now.
I just got the Evil Dead game.
It's
and
so
we're
good.
having
I
so
can't-
much fun with that.
I
Oh
don't
my
even want to get
God.
started with that because we'll be talking for like
Yeah,
hours.
yeah.
So.
I'm a gamer, obviously.
Yes,
But
it's super fun. It really is.
yeah, I really enjoy it.
Yeah,
Highly
it's good.
recommend. I will say that.
Yeah. So yeah, this was a blast, and I think
Totally. Thank you for having me.
yeah, thank you for wanting to come on and whatnot, and I think there's another episode you coming on. It might be with you and Sean. I got to look again at the schedule.
No, I think we're separate.
Is it
I don't
separate?
think because I think I'm doing brain damage.
Let me. You
Well, I
are
know I'm
doing.
doing
Yes,
that.
it is separate because I think Sean's coming on for the burning, which is coming.
Right.
Up very
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah. Because I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
but
So
we,
in 2 weeks we're doing brain damage. So not next weekend, the weekend after. You're coming on again. Hell yeah.
and brain damage is very dear to my heart.
Yeah. And then 2 weeks after that we got Sean coming on. So hell yeah. Oh my god, and speaking of Inferno, we got Podcasts from the Woods coming on to do Inferno the week after that, so I have to suffer through Inferno
Oh,
again.
Boomer is like, God, he's so fun. He
Yeah.
is the only person who was never cut down in like having me on an episode. He released that 3.5 hour episode, and I was like, oh God, how well did that do? I was just nervous. Like,
Yeah.
is anybody going to see the time on that and go, no? But apparently people liked it.
Yeah,
So I was
we've
like,
had some pretty long
cool.
ones. I think we've reached about like almost 3.5 hours here too. So you get those, and
It
we could
happens.
definitely fall into that if you didn't have some stuff to do tonight. So
Oh,
I
for
will.
real.
I'll let you off the hook, and thank you for reviewing this movie with us and talking how weird it is.
It was fun.
Yes, it was. So this was the Baron's Hideout podcast. I was your host, Dustin.
I was your co-host, Aaron.
That was the lovely Candy the Final Girl from the Host That Screams horror podcast. If you don't listen to them, you're under a rock and you need to bury yourself out or dig yourself out. And please go support them because I think that they are the best podcast out there right now in the horror realm. I really, really do. So thank you guys for everything that you do and coming on. Really, like I said during that interview, you sparked this whole podcast of ours. So without you, we wouldn't even be here. So thank you, Candy, and your
I
whole crew.
appreciate that so much. I don't even know what to say.
It's
Thank
okay.
you.
Just
blush.
yeah, just take it in. Just take it in. It's okay. And go enjoy those
Weird.
movies tonight. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here, and we will catch you later.